What's good, YouTube? It's your main man, ABD Hero, back again with another video. And we're coming to you live from the road. You know what I'm saying? We back on the road again. If you remember, like a week or so ago, I was talking about my niece had passed, and then so we had to go to the funeral and all of that stuff today. But we still managed to tap in with your boy, LiAngelo Ball, and I had to get on here and do a little recap. Let's
And
get
I'm
into
hanging
it.
out with my dude, AB the Hero.
What's
Well,
up?
we getting it down in the baller state, baby.
Hey.
AB, way to get out on the lane. How you get out on the lane?
What do you thought about that, Jay?
I like that. Yeah, I told you, he's a hustler for it.
Let's go. I'm out.
Now, I had to play that intro this time because you heard my dog G3 say that. Get out in the lane. He's a hustler for real. And if I had to describe his game tonight, that would be where I would start. The man get out on the lane, he run, he find his spot, and he knock down shots. He's a hustler for real. He does what he does. Here's a big thing though. I want to do this before I get into the actual breakdown and all this. I want to show you something that is really important, and that might go unnoticed to a lot of people, but your boy AB the Hero is on top of it. Let's pull up this. Here is the NBA G League's YouTube channel. Now, if you caught on to the link, you will see that they streamed tonight's game on their YouTube channel. Okay. And you say, AB, but why does that matter? Okay, they streamed it. So you could have watched the game for free on their YouTube channel. Now, let me show y'all something. Let me make it bigger here. Let's do this so y'all can see it. Now, if you scroll through here, pretty much they got highlights from the night's game. Um, right here, the game for the Greensboro Swarm, Birmingham Squadron. I go to highlights to that. And they got highlights from players from all through that game. Okay. John Petty from the night. 6 steals, 30 points from Joe Young. JT Thor scored 34 points tonight. Arnaldos Kaluboko, 20 points. And if you look at the timestamps, here's what I want you to see. Look at the timestamps when these highlights got uploaded. 36 minutes ago to Jared Harper, they got his clips up. Jalen Crutcher, who had a phenomenal night, facilitating and passing that ball. I don't think Jello would have been as successful as he was tonight if Jalen Crutcher was not facilitating and playing so unselfish. 38 minutes, they uploaded his clip. Now, at this time when I loaded this, I'll refresh it in a second. It had Jello ball was up for 24 minutes. Okay, in those 24 minutes, the view count was at 930 views, which that's the views they show here, which really mean that's probably up above 1,000, probably about 1,500 to 2,000 at that time. Okay, so now your JT Thor, who was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets and then assigned to the G League. 56 people tuned in to see what his 34 points look like. Jared Harper, 67 people at this time. TJ and Jalen Crutcher, and you was hooping. 63 people tuned in for that. You know what I'm saying? All of this now. Now, what I will do here is I'm gonna refresh the screen. Give it a second, and let's see if those numbers have changed, because you never know. Maybe people got on today's stuff late. So, like I said, 51.4. It's almost about 1,500. So, if you're saying 1,500 here, that means it's above 2K over there. 29 points. I'm telling you this, that the G League is aware. This means something. This means something. This means something. You heard it. Listen to me when I say this. That means something. I can tell you what it means, but I would prefer you to use your imagination. Now, let me pull up something else because I want to get into the box score for tonight, so you could just see how great my dog was hooping this evening. So let me pull this up here for you, for you, for you. So game took place tonight, um, 7 p.m. I'm tapped in, and it's interesting because your man Jello Ball did not play, did not play in the first quarter. Came in the second quarter. on one of his first couple possessions in the game, I was kind of like I was a bit frustrated. I watched Vernon Carey get a rebound, have two guards on the wings waiting for him to pass him the ball to dribble it up. He looks them both off, comes down the court, drives to the basket, blows a layup. Squadron come down. The Swarm get the ball back. Kuboko gets the ball, brings it up the court, not looking to pass, gets into the post, tries to do something, loses the ball out of bounds. Next time down, your man Jalen Crutcher, squadron comes down. Jello Ball makes a play on the ball at the rim, deflects it, stops the bucket. Your boy Crutcher gets it, and I could see soon as he touched the ball, he was looking like, oh, I know my man. I got to get Jello into this. Brings it down, Jello. Get out in the lane. You a hustler for the first point. Runs to the 3-point line. Crutcher finds him, pulls up, blackout. Now, if you like me, you thinking to yourself, okay, it's up and it's stuck. My dog's hooping. That's my son in here creeping. He's hooping. It's about to go down. Does not happen like that. I'm looking at the box score because, like I said, we had family stuff going on, funeral, all of this stuff, repat. So I'm watching the game here and there sparingly. I look at the box score, the game over 22 points. Jello, I'm thinking, okay, he got in that second quarter, went bananas, and then they just kind of played him a ton through the rest of the game. Didn't happen like that. Had a couple more possessions, got a 2-point bucket there in that second quarter. Does not play the rest of the second quarter. Third quarter comes around. I believe gets in the game about 5 minutes to go in that third quarter. And I'm thinking, damn, he started with 15. How he got to play the whole third. Skinny minutes in the third quarter. Fourth quarter comes around. Now I will add, if my man Jello had not have touched the court in that third quarter, this game would have been a blowout. It would have been. It wasn't a close game at all. They handily had a lead of about 9 to 10 points consistently through the entire game, um, and but it was ugly. It was ugly. It was going to get ugly. My man Jello brought it back. Kept bringing it back. Kept bringing it back. Kept bringing it back. It was getting ugly. Now we get into the box score here. Let's just get into this. Now this is important stuff for us to talk about. Your boy JT Thor, 36 minutes tonight, 14 for 22 from field goal attempts, finished with 34 points. JT Thor was in position for like what I would consider to be um, like prime opportunities for him. He should have had at least 45 points tonight. Your boy Crutcher was throwing lobs and trying to get him the ball in the paint, and he just could not finish around the rim. What helped JT Thor is this: he went 4 for 7 from behind the arc. So you take 4 for 7, that adds 12 points onto his total there. So it looked like he was struggling a bit. Then all of a sudden he got hot from behind the arc and then kind of pushed himself back up. You can tell this by if you look at your man JT Thor's plus minus -10. You wouldn't expect to have a -10 from a guy who's giving you 34 points a night. A lot of the early minutes in this game was filled with a lot of these guys playing like I don't want to say selfish basketball, but I would say basketball with themselves in mind. You could call that selfish. You look at a guy like Vernon Carey. Vernon Carey 4 for 12, -24 plus and minus, finished the game with 11 points. Vernon Carey played this game like he was out to get his. The points that he did get was Jello assisted him on one. Crutcher got him a few buckets there, but most of the time, if Vernon Carey was a black hole tonight, if you got him the ball, he was not passing that boy out, and he was going to get a shot up. Uh, if you remember, Vernon Carey last year was the guy who left the bubble, I believe, early and joined the Hornets. Him and Jalen McDaniels did it first, and Vernon Carey came in once they had some injuries. But and Nick Richards stayed. Now Nick Richards is with the Hornets, and Vernon Carey is with the Swarm. And I was wondering, like, what happened? What happened? I'm seeing what's going on. I think that what I assumed was going to be tough for Jello to really thrive in this setting was you have a lot of guys who are looking to get theirs, right? Um, not pass first, not trying to like get folks involved. I'm trying to get mine. This man, Jalen Crutcher, though, 14 assists on the night. 14 assists on the night. He was looking for people. He was finding folks, and he found Jello in all of the opportune spaces. He's the one who got him going when in the game, and he didn't score a ton of points, but facilitation to me really makes it look like, yo, he's got a future. He's gonna move that thing forward. Arnold Naldas Caboclo, decent night, 20 points, 8 boards, 2 assists. But like I said, some of these guys, man, it just was kind of black holish. One of the things that I will say is that with Caboclo is like he was still in a space where like he was getting NBA shots. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he was um getting the ball and taking just like ridiculous crazy shots. He was getting to a spot where it's like if you're an NBA player, you know what I'm saying, you might be able to knock that down and score. His game reminded me a lot of what you would see from a Gordon Hayward, right? So I think if your man Jello continues to hoop like he hooping, I see him moving into that starting lineup for this team. And then if he continues to have that type of success of shooting that ball 4 for 7 from behind the arc, that's a damn good night. And what I do love about this box score for him, 9 for 13 from the field, is that all of his points are not 3 pointers. He around the rim. He getting putbacks, cutting to the basket, making plays on the ball, getting out in transition and scoring easy buckets as well, not solely relying on that 3 point shot. But this was a great game for your man Jello Ball. I'm excited for him. I think that he on to something with this squad. It's your main man, ABD Hero. We getting up out of here. Peace.